Hey everyone, this is Squall Snake, and on Saturday, July 17th, 2021, I went to the Video Game Summit in Villa Park, Illinois. This is just going to be a quick video on some of the things that I saw. This is me cruising in my car on the way out so you can see the convention center, the Odeum Convention Center. There's a nice sign. They were very strict about not bringing any outside food or any beverages in. That was the lobby. And here was when I walked in. There's a ton of vendors here, as you can see. And this video right here, this shot, I kind of just wanted to do a quick walkthrough and just to demonstrate the space, the amount of people that was here, the vendors, the things that were for sale. As you can see, there's just tons and tons of stuff here, an easy way to burn an entire Saturday. I had a blast. It was great. It was only $10 to get in. Parking was free. There's tons of parking here. If you've never been to Villa Park, Illinois, at this convention center here, it's basically a western suburb of Chicago. This dude here, he was selling a bunch of import games. This guy on the other side had some awesome cases. I really respect those vendors that take the extra time to label all their games with the price, put them in a great case. Got nothing wrong with the bins, of course. Totally understand how that can go. And here, you know, PS1 games, PSP games that guy was selling. And over here, there's some PS2 games. And this was, by the way, right when I first walked in. So this was right about 10:30, 11 o'clock, I think the thing started. And they also had arcade games here. I'm going to pan over to the right shortly, and you can just walk up to these games. They were on free play. You did not have to put any money in it. I believe they were donated for the day by Galloping Ghost Arcade. If you've never been there, they're based out of Brookfield, Illinois. That place rocks. It's basically the coolest place on earth. If you've never been there, check it out. These kids are having a blast playing Tetris Attack. This is me standing on the bench from the side, or the seats from the side, as you can see, and getting just a wide pan shot of this convention center. Last year, not last year, nothing happened in 2020, but in 2019 I went, and it was upstairs and it was really hot. But here, downstairs, a lot cooler, a lot more space. This dude was selling amiibos. Check out this Quibi, I don't know how you say that, $200 for the Japanese only. And that one right there, I was like, why is that one $200? But that was actually a misprint. So that was kind of cool. I thought that was pretty interesting. Here's this dude selling a bunch of import stuff, Super Famicom. I always want to check the bins at the bottom. To me, that's pretty huge. That's where you can find some really good stuff, usually for cheap. Wii games were all over the place. This guy had a bunch of NES carts, and then down here again, more bins. Always want to check those out. Really important to me. That's a lot of people kind of neglect the bins at the bottom. That's kind of my buyer tip. If you go to these conventions, usually there's some pretty decent stuff if you look hard enough on those bins at the bottom, and the sellers are willing to sell them for pretty cheap. So coming up here though, Famicom imports. This dude was selling a bunch of stuff, and I didn't buy anything from this guy. I'm not really into the Nintendo, NES, Super Nintendo collecting. Those days are kind of past me at this point. But at the end of the video, I am going to go over some things that I did buy and some interesting things that I've had my eye on. There's also action figures. Tons of people selling action figures. There's plushies. There's t-shirts. All sorts of anime stuff. Atari 2600 games. Box stuff. The problem that I have with these cons is all these sellers pretty much know what they have, so prices are always going to be high, especially with the retro bubble. A lot of games really expensive that are out there these days. So with COVID, everybody's staying home for some reason. Everybody wants to be a collector these days, and prices are pretty high. So if you want something, you can probably find it at this con. I had a great time, a lot of stuff here, cool stuff. But you're just going to pay for it. You're really not going to get that great of a deal. You're not going to get any steals, I should say. My other tip is, if you're going to talk to these vendors, is kind of just talk with them, make friends with them. And usually if you buy more than one thing, or if you buy a ton of stuff, there's a Game Boy Micro, usually they're going to give you a pretty good deal on things. So try to buy in bulk, maybe walk around first, get an inventory of what you might want, and then come back if no other seller is selling them around the con. That's some more advice that I could give you. A lot of original Xbox games, I saw that. A lot of that stuff here. This guy, I bought some stuff from this guy. Bunch of import Japanese Super Famicom and Famicom and Game Boy games. And one of the games I did buy from him, I will talk about that. There's a Game Boy camera. I actually bought Robopon. You can see it at the very top there. Here's Rampage. I just thought this was super cool. Nobody was standing in front of the machine when I was taking this video, so I figured why not show off Rampage. Great 3-player game that you can just play at this con. And bunch of Nintendo games, a lot of Nintendo games. This was one of the things where you probably wanted to get a good deal. You can probably find some good common games for a pretty decent price if you are just starting out with Nintendo collecting. Here's a bunch more DS. We got some PS1 stuff here. A lot of Sega CDs. I was actually surprised with the number of Sega CD stuff that I saw at this convention. It was kind of uncanny, but that's cool. So if you're into Sega CD, I know that's a little bit more niche these days, but that was pretty cool. Here's another shot from the stands. Just again, I wanted to kind of capture the idea of the space. I don't know what they do at this convention. Maybe they play like floor hockey or indoor football or something like that. I'm not sure what actually goes on here, but pretty good space. It was spaced out. It was the right temperature on this hot July day on the inside. Nobody was sweating crazily, and they even had food. They were serving food there, as you can see on the right-hand side. And of course, it would not be a con without plushies and Pokemon plushies. This dude had a ton of Kirby plushies and Funko Pops. Man, Funko Pops are just everywhere these days. You cannot escape them. This guy pretty much had only Funko Pops. He wasn't even really selling any games, just tables and tables of Funko Pops. And some people still selling Pokemon cards. So here's some more anime stuff. These were boxes. This guy actually put his consoles in boxes that he made. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a nice touch. A little extra layer of quality there that not everybody else does. Thought that was really unique. And here's a final shot. There's Brett Weiss. So he's the author of many different books. Cool guy. I've been talking with him for years. There's me and Brett. He was nice enough to sign my books. Like a total nerd, I actually brought some of the books, his SNES and NES Omnibus books. I brought them with me because I'm a dork, and he signed them for me. So I thought that was really cool. Very happy to meet him. If you don't know Brett, go check him out. Here's the stuff that I bought, by the way. I bought the book. Here's my Nintendo 64 controller that was blue but had a gray plug. I thought that was hilarious. And here's my Robopon and a couple of cheap games, DS games that I bought for very cheap. So you can follow me on Twitter at ZachGaz. Thank you for watching. This has been the Video Game Summit of 2021. Really cool. I hope it comes back again next year. I think it will. So come on down to Chicago and say hi if you run into me. I appreciate it. I'll see you later. Thanks, bye, game on, and thank you for watching.